This is why I love friends, subscribers, people that follow the channel, because they just lie. Why I love. Oh, hold on, wait, I got feedback coming in here again, but here we go. Big Crystal of MMA. Let's go. Big Blue T-Dog in the house to give us some entertainment with some intelligence. Some intelligence. Where the fuck are we getting that? We don't want intelligence. We just want honest opinions. We need to talk about the New York Giants offensive coordinator position. We have a stupid giant Twitter post winner as always. And that stupid giant Twitter post.
Stupid giant Twitter post.
Well, that's going to go to everyone's favorite Ticketmaster wannabe, Craig Cartman of WFAN, who basically came out and said that the Giants look bad because Todd Monken took a job as a head coach in the NFL and did not take a job as an offensive coordinator. That it takes the shine off John Harbaugh. It takes the shine of everything that the Giants have been doing. Boy, I don't know how that motherfucker got back on the fan. The fan has Tiki Barber on all the time. So, because he's on the morning midday show, whatever the fuck it is. But that guy, convicted felon Craig Cartman, is giving us knowledge about how the shine is off Harbaugh because of the fact that Todd Monken turned down the Giants to take a head coaching job in the NFL, to be an NFL head coach, even though it's the Cleveland Browns. It could be the fucking Toledo Mudhens or the Cleveland Mudhens. He's an NFL head coach. Yeah, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take that job over the offensive coordinator's job, and I do not blame Todd Monken. Yo, Eagles got their OC before NYC. Who is their OC? Which one of Nick Sirianni's friends are coming over to be the OC? Don't worry, though. We got a guy. We got a guy coming in. We got a guy coming in strong. We got a guy right now that I was doing all this research on him, and I'm overly excited about this guy because his name has already been bandied about in the chat so many times, and I just love it because it's going to be look at that Jim Bob Cooter, formerly from Hazard County. It's the Jim Bob. Just got to get into the music a little bit just for Jim Bob, because when you hire someone from Jim Bob named Jim Bob Cooter, you know they're from Hazard County. They have requested an interview. They have requested an interview with Jim Bob. with Jim Bob Cooter. He's been the Indianapolis Colts OC since 2023. He's held that position once before, I believe, with the Detroit Lions. I'm not not gonna lie to you, man. I'm not feeling much heat from Jim Bob Cooter. Maybe is it part of the Rooney Rule? Because I just got to ask. Here we go, though, guys. Let's do it all with it. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the Giants will allow. Okay, no, I'm sorry. No. Listen, I love you, Harbaugh. But if you bring in Jim Bob Cooter, oh my God, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly fast. This is a guy, like I said, he's been in the league since 2009. He was an offensive assistant. He worked for the Kansas City Chiefs of the venerable offensive quality control coach, which basically means nothing. It also means Joe Shane coffee getter. He was an offensive assistant with the Broncos for a year. He spent 2 years as a quarterback coach for the Detroit Lions before he came over to be the offensive coordinator in 16 and 18. Then he was the Jets running back coach from 2019 to 2020. Then he was a consultant for the Eagles for a whole year Then he was the passing game coordinator in 2022 for the Jaguars. And then, of course, he was the Indianapolis Colts offensive coordinator. Listen, I'm gonna give like I said, I'm gonna give the Harbaugh a lot of leeway. Now, Cooter, of course. I can't, man. I can't. Cooter, of course, was also the former quarterback playing for the University of Tennessee. No, I can't. I can't deal with it. I can't take it. I would literally lose my fucking mind. But you know what? There's other candidates abound right now. The venerable Davis Webb's name has been bandied about. I don't know how many times now. And I actually think Davis Webb. I'm going to get to the chat in a minute too, but I actually do think Davis Webb is an interesting. Would be an interesting selection. Would be another guy that, again, like I said, I'm not a big proponent, especially when you're working with a young quarterback in Jaxson Dart. But Davis Webb has also spent time working with a young quarterback named Bo Nix. So, I mean, he is the offensive passing game coordinator, a quarterback's coach with Bo Nix. Bo Nix, it's only been a year. He was a quarterback coach for 2022, 2024. The Davis Webb thing to me is almost like a Mike Kafka move. And, you know, I'm not going to compare the two because I don't know, you know, exactly what Davis Webb is going to bring, but he did a lot of work with Bo Nix. Bo Nix credits him a lot for the success that he's currently having. And like I said, he's a former Giant. He's had 2 stints with the Giants. He's, you know, like I said, he's worked under the venerable Sean Payton. You know, and it's one of those things, and I kind of think that I can't do Davis Webb either. I cannot do Davis Webb either. I'm not feeling the heat from Davis Webb either. I mean, I'd rather go with Jim Bob Cooter. Always makes me giggle. I'm such a big child. Yeah, me too. But it's one of those things. Do you look at it from the perspective that maybe Harbaugh is going to go against the grain and maybe get more involved, you know, in the offense? I love the idea, and I've loved the idea with Harbaugh that he's going to come in here and be the venerable CEO for the entire organization. That he's not just going to fit into one segment. Speaking of one segment, don't forget online Big Blue New York Giants Straight Talk, brought to you by the Believe Network and, of course, the mighty FanDuel. FanDuel.com, number one sportsbook in America. I mean, there are other candidates that we have up on this thumbnail. I mean, they're also looking to get an interview with Alex Tanney, you know, another former Giant quarterback. Alex, of course, is he was the offensive quality control coach for the Eagles back in 2021. He was the assistant quarterbacks coach and offensive line assistant. He was then a quarterbacks coach. And then he was the offensive passing game coordinator back from the Indianapolis Colts from 2024 to 24 to present. Again, will the Giants go with a structure of a brand new OC? And that's the thing. I'm not totally against it. But I would like to see people coming in here with a little bit more experience. I would like to see people coming in here that have a little bit more knowledge in reference to calling a game plan. I would like to see that. We also see in the name T. Martin, the former Tennessee quarterback, bandied about. A lot of Tennessee quarterbacks. T. Martin, I think, had a much better career than Cooter because he's always chasing them damn Duke boys. But he's another one that he has been coaching T. Martin since 2006 at Morehouse, I should say. That's not Morehouse State, it's Morehouse. And then he did the ranks as a quarterback coach like New Mexico, Kentucky, pass game coordinator in 2011. And he was a wide receivers coach over at USC for about 2 years. Then he was a pass game coordinator and wide receivers coach. And then he stayed at USC for a while. Then he went back to his alma mater as assistant head coach and wide receiver coach. He's the guy that's never called the game plan. And this is what scares me. And this is why, like I said, this is why I think you got to just trust we're just gonna have to trust the Harbaugh, because I'm just not seeing it. I'm not feeling the heat out of any of this. I'm not sitting there like, well, this is going to work out extremely well. I'm just not feeling the heat out of all these candidates. And I think we gotta, again, there are so many different directions that we can go here. You got Charlie Weis Jr. I mean, Charlie Weis Jr. probably wouldn't bug me as much. I was thinking about him. Because Charlie Weis has got the connection with the Giants, and I know that's nothing going on, but he's got that connection. Charlie Weis Jr. was the OC over at LSU. He was the OC for a while too. He's basically followed Lane Kiffin around like a puppy dog. He was the OC over at Florida Atlantic for a couple of years, then South Florida, then Ole Miss, then LSU. He is a guy that, like I said, he also worked under his dad's staff, I believe, at Notre Dame. He's 32 years old. He is a guy that, when you look at his resume, he has a resume of being an offensive playing caller. He has a resume following that 11-1 season of building the right offense, and of course, he has the familiarity with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss and everything else going on there, and some other quarterback. So if you're looking to mature and maturate your quarterback in Jaxson Dart, Charlie Weis Jr. is not a bad situation. This is also a guy that was making $350,000 a year at South Florida. So if you're looking to build a staff, if you're looking to have someone with familiarity with Jaxson Dart, vis-a-vis though it's in college, and who has been a offensive play caller going back to 18, and he did have a cup of coffee with the Atlanta Falcons as the offensive quality control coach. But this is a guy, like I said, Charlie Weis Jr., I don't know if it's a name that brings heat, but like I said, if you're going to go with that young coordinator, he's not a bad fit. I'm not looking at it and going, well, that's a terrible fit here. No, I'm not feeling that way. And like I said, he has got that connection. And we all know that sometimes having the ability to work with a quarterback that you like, and ability to work at a quarterback that you know, and the ability that we have seen it before, I'm kind of talking myself into Charlie Weis Jr. You also got Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart has experience as a head coach over at South Florida. He had the one season, of course, in listen, we're not going to get into his head coaching career because he had the one season at Oregon. He had the couple seasons, the couple pitiful seasons that got himself fired at Florida State. He is a guy that they also went over to Florida Atlantic. He was a running backs coach again with the Baltimore Ravens. He was assistant head coach and running backs coach, and he's been now with the Giants for a cup of coffee. So would I bring in Willie Taggart? He's got a career record of 71-80 as a head coach. His best season was 10-2 over at South Florida, where he got first place, and I believe they won. I can't remember if they won or lost the Birmingham Bowl. But then he took that job at Oregon, went 7-5. We're not gonna get into that because what he did and then where he went, and then it ended up finishing 9-12 in 2 seasons at Florida State. Then went over to Florida Atlantic for the 15-18 record. Is he someone that you move up into the forefront that you already have signed? I'm starting to like Charlie Weis. I'm literally starting to talk myself into Charlie Weis Jr. I'm not bad with that. What's up, Kevin? How you doing, brother? Let's see here. Mike Lee says, last time I checked, the most cases of head coaches make more money than offensive coordinators. Hello, big red truck. Yeah. Cartman, man. Craig Cartman. We're just going to call him fucking Eric Cartman. How do you sit there and say, well, it's to the detriment of the Giants? He's a fucking moron. We all knew WFAN was in fucking trouble. But to bring this guy back after he got convicted of basically stealing, he got felony conviction, went to fucking jail, and then you're like, let's bring him back. Dude chased the bag. It's gonna happen. Heck, I'd take it. Like I said, I have no problem with Monken going there. Yeah, I know Monken was that big name. I got no problem with that. He's going to be a head coach. How many head coaching positions are given to people every year? How many opportunities do people have to be a head football coach? Todd Monken's almost 60. What is he supposed to wait till he's 7? I don't know what he's going to wait till he's 72 to have a head coaching job outside of when he was at the Southern Miss. You're offered a job as an NFL fucking head coach. And he has a little bit of a lineage with the Browns. He was one season over at the offensive coordinator, I believe. I think it was in 19. But how do you fault the guy for turning the Giants down and taking a head coaching job? That's crazy. That's crazy. And then to say, well, the shine and luster is off Harbaugh because of that. Fucking Craig Cartman's a fucking retard. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. Sorry. I should not make fun of mentally challenged people by comparing them to Craig Cartman. Where's John David Booty? That would be good too. Pretty good baseball player. Bo Leave and Bo Nick's brother were playing in the bowl. Wasn't from the bum ankle. You're an Eagle fan. What the fuck are you talking about? Mike Kafka's eyebrows always scared me. That's why we literally have always called, and James Williams is the one that venerably put it together. He squints. Mike Kafka is squints from the Sandlot. We all know that. But I'm telling you, man, this Charlie Weis thing. The Charlie Weis thing is really growing on me. Like, if you look and yeah, I think Cliff Kingsbury is another guy. I don't even know if they reached out to him yet. But Cliff is I don't know. I'm thinking about Kingsbury. Yeah, he's a guy, like I said, he's been a head coach. He was the offensive coordinator for 2 seasons over, of course, in DC. So that's not gonna hurt us any. Head coach for 5 years over at Texas Tech. He has been an offensive coordinator. He's used to working with scrambling type quarterbacks. Would he want to come here and be second fiddle to Harbaugh after posting a 28, 37-1 record and having one playoff appearance, which is that one playoff loss to the Los Angeles Rams back in the wild card game in 2021? I think if you're looking, here's the thing with Kingsbury, though. He worked with Jaden Daniels. They tried to make him more of a passer, Jaden Daniels, last year. Didn't work out as well, especially also with the injury. The team mutually parted ways. This is a guy that had Kyler Murray's best season. He's more, I guess, of a known commodity. I don't want to call him a retread. But he is more of a known commodity than a lot of these other guys. I mean, it's something to think about. Cliff Kingsbury's another one. Kind of, you got to kind of think about it a little bit. That name, Mr. Greg. I mean, how the hell is your name Cooter? Oh my God, Cooter. And then to top it off, your name is Jim Bob. Possum on a gumbush. Cooter didn't chase the Dukes. You were thinking about Roscoe and his Roscoe Pico train. Cooter ran the garage. I know, but it's not as funny. It's not as funny. I know he was friends with them Dar Duke boys. He was friends. I got that, but it's not. It makes you hitting the like button, guys. It's not as funny. So I mean, oh my God, I don't know, man. I can't. I got to back away from Cooter. Nah, Kingsbury usually gets a massive promotion after getting fired. I don't want to call Kingsbury a retread, though. Would you want, and that's the question. This is the thing you need to think of. Would you want Cliff Kingsbury working with Jaxson Dart? You've seen what he's done with Kyler Murray. You see what I'm not going to go back to Texas Tech. I'm not going to go back to his college career. But you've seen what he's done as an OC and head coach in the pros. Does that fulfill you with confidence that he is going to maturate that success into Jaxson Dart?
That's what she said.
Into the next level. That's my big question. Kafka was a joke as an OC and HC at the end of the story. James, he really was. And I don't really want to get into the first time OC. And one of the things I like about Charlie Weis Jr. now that I'm thinking about it more and more is the fact that he's called plays. He's followed Lane Kiffin around like a puppy dog. He's worked with a certain quarterback. We're not going to say whom, but he's been an offensive coordinator. Now, yes, he has been an offensive coordinator in the pro. I mean, not in the pros, but in college. But here's my thing. It's a hell of a lot easier to understand the flow of the game, to understand the nuances of the game, to understand, looking at a defense and making the right adjustments and making the right play calls. It is when you've done it before. And it may not be at the pro level, but he's done it at the college level. So I'm kind of feeling it. Giants should have been on the phone with Josh McDaniel. I hate Josh McDaniel. He's another one. He's another fucking knucklehead. To protect, what's up, brother? Cliff Kingsbury, at least he has experience calling a game. Yes, but he's always had one. This is the thing that bugs me about Cliff Kingsbury. And I'll get over it. You hire him, I'm going to get over it. But he always has one good season where he goes. It's usually the first season, like Arizona. He has one good season or two good seasons. And then the wheels fall off the bus. Same thing with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, great rookie season. Sophomore year, not so much. And your role as the offensive coordinator when you have a second-year quarterback, when you know the league is going to adjust to that quarterback, is to help him maturate into being better. And can we really say that Cliff Kingsbury made Jaden Daniels better that second season? That's something to think about. Tommy DeVito for OC. Fuck it. All these whole Giant preseason MVP quarterbacks. Why not him? Because he's on the roster in New England. I don't know if he's on the roster, but I know he's on the practice squad. Like I've said before, mind fuck of the night. Either Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito will have a Super Bowl ring in 2 weeks. One of those two will have a Super Bowl ring in a week and a half now. One of those two. If I was a betting man, I would go to the mighty FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com, number one sports book in America. New customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Let's go to the FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's see. The line was 4.5 the other day. Let me go see what the line is right now. Line is still 4.5. The line is not shifted. Drake May right now is potentially listed as having a shoulder injury. I honestly thought the line would have moved a little bit, but it hasn't moved. I thought maybe it would. Go to 5.5. Because right now you're going to take New England on 4.5 points. I would still, what the problem is? Seattle's tough. Seattle's a tough one to gauge. I really like the secondary in New England. I don't trust Sam Darnold, so maybe I think I would take the Pats in the 4.5 points. If I go build a parlay here, if I take the Pats in the 4.5 points, I've said it before. If I go out right now. And let's see here. And you know what? I'm going to take the Pats in the 4. I'm going to take the Pats in the 4.5 points. I'm going to have the Boston Celtics going to the NBA Finals. And I was taught by David Behrman, of course, his name is, do not do more than a 3-leg parlay. So I'm going to take. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take Colorado and Colorado versus Iowa. I'm taking Colorado in the 34.5 points. I'm going to bet $150. If I win on that parlay, that's New England plus 4.5. Boston Celtics going to the winners of the NBA Finals. And 34.5 points for Colorado on a $150 bet would win me on the Mighty FanDuel $8,977.38. I like it. Sign me up. And if you are signing up, just don't forget, new customers bet $5. You get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Also, you want to take a look at the UFC parlay and also the 30% profit boost on UFC 325. I remember it was just UFC. I remember it was UFC 1. that's how old I am. Now they're up to 325. But make sure you go to the mightyfanduel.com, fanduel.com. Don't forget to game responsibly. I like that parlay though. Chicken cutlets, Mr. Greg, chicken cutlets. Dimitri Moore coached up the D-line boy. Oh my God. Some people can't be head coaches. No, you can't be head coaches. Willie Ponder. You can't, you know what? It's one of those things with head coaches and head coaches experience. And like I said, Todd Monken's to me, he's almost 60. And like I said, you got Craig Cartman and other idiots like, well, he's making the Giants look bad because he was going to be the offensive coordinator. Okay, you're almost 60. You're 59 years old. You're going to be 60 this year. You have never been an NFL head coach. You're a head coach in college for a hiccup. You've always been second fiddle. This is your chance to turn around as an offensive coordinator. Become a head coach. Yeah, it's with the lowly Cleveland Browns. But if you turn them around, you're a fucking genius. What's up, Ryan from Ryan's Big Boo Podcast? Actually, Monken made more than six or so ACs as an OC. Yes. But the problem is this, Big Joe. You're not the top dog. You are again a guy that's behind the wings. Sometimes you want to step up in your career, and I guarantee you, Todd Monken's was not sitting there. You know, when he was a little Todd Monken's, like sitting there saying to himself, "You know what I want to be when I grow up, Dad?" And he goes, "What, son? I want to be an offensive coordinator my entire life." No, I don't think little Todd was doing that. B. Will says, "You want Dart to throw? Who's Kevin Gilbride doing these days?" What is Kevin Gilbride going to throw a punch? Oh no, that was Buddy Ryan. I don't know what Kevin Gilbride's doing these days. To be honest, he's 70 something years old. I know that. He's got to be. Kevin Gilbride's got to be in his late 70s or mid 70s. Now that you think about it. So yeah, no. Tommy DeVito for president. I'd rather have Charlie than Cliff. I would go. That's okay. This is what I'm going to ask you right now. Who would you rather have? Charlie Weis Jr. or Cliff Kingsbury? Oh, and Ryan from Ryan's Big Boo Podcast. I want to bring something up to you, brother. Who got the head coaching job in Buffalo? What was that guy's name? Batman? Oh no, Joe Brady. Somebody told you. Tommy Cutlets was a flash in the pan. Brother sucked. He did. Remember Tommy had the, yeah, you're right. What was it? Ryan here. Cliff Kingsbury was notorious for fast starts until the DC got tape. Seems like he's not the multi-dimensional as an OC. Ryan, I actually agree with that 100%. I was talking about that a few minutes ago, that you see him start off quick, Kingsbury. And then every place that he's gone, he's flamed out. It's like his offense is starting like you thought there was so much promise in Arizona when he went out and got Kyler Murray, because he put up a season where you were just like, Kyler Murray, like, okay, he made the playoffs. You're like, okay, he went up against the Rams. He lost in the wild card, but you're like, okay, this guy's got something. This guy's got a little something. But then the wheels fell off the bus again. Let's see. Tim, this is a hypernated first name, only less infuriating than hypernated last name. I don't mind it so much. I don't mind it either because everyone knows why I don't mind it because you hire Cooter, it's gonna be the greatest thing ever. You hire Cooter, we know it. Yes, I know I sound just like Waylon Jennings. Let's see here. I think it's going to be the Seahawks. I kind of think the Seahawks as well, but I don't trust Sam Darnold. Hit the like button, everyone. Honeypot says, I love Dart. Honeypot, this is what we're talking about, though. This was probably, or this is, I'm not going to lie to you, this is the second biggest hire the Giants are going to make. The first one was John Harbaugh. The second one's going to be the OC because this person is going to be instructed to work with and help grow Jaxson Dart. And that's what we have to look at. And it's one of those things. Even if we disagree on who it's going to be, this is a guy that we need to, that we're gonna have to rally around, and this is the guy that we're gonna have to pick up on. The other name I keep hearing about is Chris Scheelhaase. The only thing I don't like about Chris Scheelhaase is the fact that he is the grandson, of course, Don Shula, and the nephew of Mike Shula, but evidently he bombed out on his Pittsburgh head coaching interview. I mean, maybe he choked.
That's what she said.
But he bombed out on that interview. This is another guy that, he really has not had, oh, no, I'm not talking Chris Scheelhaase. What am I talking about? I don't want to talk about Chris Scheelhaase because Chris Scheelhaase is not going to be the offensive coordinator. He's the defensive coordinator. I lost my mind for a minute because I was thinking about him as the head coach. Oh, I was thinking about what's his name's brother. Oh, guys, this is why I don't do this is why I don't do live streams at night. This is why I don't do them at night because I get tired, and it was been a long day. I had an issue. We had an issue today in the it's actually who I'm thinking about is Mike LaFleur. I'm going to talk about Mike LaFleur in a minute, but we had an issue today in the downstairs guest bathroom. Someone had broke the handle where the hot water comes out the handle itself. And when they broke it, they just took the handle and jammed it back in. So I had to go get a special lug nut wrench because they don't make this sink anymore for this handle. So today I unscrewed the handle a little bit, not knowing that they just took the whole thing and just jammed it back in. So when I unscrewed the handle and lifted it up, I lifted up the whole fixture. So the next thing I know, there's literally a 4-foot mountain of water going down in the middle of the bathroom, on the walls, on the mirror. So, I don't panic. So I just take my hand and I jam it on top of the thing, and then I reach under the sink and I turn off the water. But I was sitting there like, well, shit. Well, now I have to go get some washers to try to fix this motherfucking shit. I watched UFC 1 in local churches, born in the 80s. The Seattle grunge music, violence hit me hard, man. Scooter Cooter. Mike Lee also says, the one that scares me is former OC of the Chargers. He has ties to both Harbaughs, but like Kingsbury, he can't adjustments after the defense figures him out. He's also run centric. I was going to say, isn't he run oriented, which doesn't help it any. I think you're right. About that. You're right. Trenton says, making some nachos right now. Life is good. Oh, fucking Trenton, life is terrible. It's going to be fucking tomorrow. It's going to be like -10. And then there's going to be a cyclone bomb. What the hell is that? The fuck is a cyclone bomb? Is someone going to run outstairs and throw a cyclone at me or something? Are we talking about the cyclone from fucking Coney Island? Broncos interviewed Ronald Curry for OC. Webb might be a legit HC candidate. I can't see Davis Webb being an HC. I couldn't see Mike Kafka as a head coach. I can't see Davis Webb as a head coach. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. It's one of those things that it's gonna perplex me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm trying to think. I'm sitting here trying to think to myself, go, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Who else? Who else did they reach out? That's the, what's his name? Who did they reach out to? The former line? Yeah, Jim Bob Cooter. I can't, man. I can't. You cannot hire someone named Jim Bob Cooter. I'm sorry, man. Your parents did not like you if they named you Jim Bob Cooter. And then you got the Rams. You got Nate, the other, he's the passing coordinator for the Rams. Former college quarterback undrafted out of Illinois. He's been coaching since 15. He was the offensive coordinator for one season, I think, at Iowa State. No, man, I can't do that one either. I can't. I am trusting the Harbaugh. I am trusting the Harbaugh, but I am perplexed and befuddled if they don't go with someone that has some type of OC experience. Someone who has experience working and maturing a quarterback. Not someone like Cliff Kingsbury who watched Kyler Murray flay out and watched Jaden Daniels flame out. But somebody who has experience, someone has the knowledge. I mean, I don't want to go retread, but I also don't want to go somewhere that it's just not gonna work. It's one of those tough things, man. It's one of those tough things that you're gonna have to that you're going to have to figure out. You're going to kind of have to, I don't know. I'm scanning the wires right now to see if I can't think of someone that has OC experience. I'm trying to think. What about that Brian Dable guy? Oh no, he's over in Tennessee. I mean, I can't think of someone out there right now that is like, I mean, is there like a surprise? Can anyone think of maybe a surprise name that we're not thinking of? Can anyone think of a name that's out there right now that you're kind of like, well, wait a minute, you know what? This guy could be something interesting. I mean, are we still looking at Clint? Is Clint Kubiak still around, or where did he go? Where did Clint go? What about Matt? What about Matt Nagy? Is Matt Nagy out there? Where did Matt Nagy go? Did he go somewhere? Is Matt Nagy still available? I mean, I'm not looking at him like I'm, like he is a world beater, but it's a guy with head coaching experience, a guy with NFL experience. I mean, I would like to get someone like Eric Bieniemy. I would. Someone with Eric Bieniemy's experience would be I think someone like Eric Bieniemy's experience would fit. Now, Eric Bieniemy's biggest slight against him early in his career was the fact that he installed the offensive game plans for Kansas City during the early Super Bowl runs, and Andy Reid called the plays. But towards the end, Eric Bieniemy turned around and was installing the game plan and calling the plays. I thought he was up for the Raiders job. I did think he was up for the Raiders job. I didn't know if he got the Raiders job yet, Clint Kubiak, or if he didn't. And I think that would be interesting. Nagy, this was the thing I was thinking about, Trenton. You're right. This is the thing I was thinking about. Nagy did coach Mitchell Trubisky to 2 playoff appearances. Mitchell Trubisky, who was not known to be this stalwart quarterback, he was supposed to be when they traded up to get him, but they did coach him. I mean, he did coach him up. He did. Glenn Powers. Nacho on the Giants is certainly a player who collects a check for not much else. Yeah, the Nacho Man needs to go away. At least you actually have nachos. I mean, Clint Kubiak. I mean, I didn't know. And that was the question I was thinking, Mike Lee. I didn't know if Clint Kubiak took the Raiders job or was already offered the Raiders job. Because Clint Kubiak would be something, would be a name as you're hitting the like button, would be a name that I would think would have some cachet. Especially if you're looking for him to be since you're looking for him to be the OC. Now, again, a guy that's 38 years old, he was the offensive coordinator for the Saints for the Seahawks last year. He was the passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach. He was the Vikings offense coordinator for a season, quarterback coach. So he's worked with quarterbacks as well. I think that is Clint Kubiak is a very interesting name to be bandied about as well. But like I said, I do think he's probably going to end up, with one of the few remaining head coaching jobs. Brandon says, what do you think the Giants of fangirl? I think that's her name. I'm probably supposed to say something nice because she's on Believe. I think I'm supposed to say something nice, but I gotta, and like my mother said, if you don't have anything nice to say, make sure you say a lot. I call her a ChatGPT analyst. I think she'd rather do TikTok and other things than actually be and this is also a person that she was like, well, you know what? And I love it because she talks about it. I lost my job. This is the epitome of white privilege. I lost my job. I'm not going to go back to work, so I'm just going to be a giant content creator. And I think she's part of the Super Friends, and I think she's a ChatGPT analyst that doesn't know anything about football or sports. And it's easier for a woman to get onto a podcast or a sports network because you are a woman, if you want me to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you, folks. Ask me a question, I give you an answer. Mike Lee says it's called learning and getting experience. Talking about Bieniemy. I agree. He's getting this. So Clint Kubiak is getting a second interview. Gruden. Yeah. No, we don't want Gruden. We don't want John Gruden. Or do you want his brother? John Gruden is not going to be an OC. Who are you think the Giants are going to get for the OC and offensive coordinator and offensive line coach? I'm not even worried about the offensive line coach yet because I'm still worried about the offensive coordinator. That's the one that I'm going to be worried about the most. Is that offensive coordinator position? Let's see here. BPE says Bieniemy seemed to be well liked and respected. Nice guy. Don't have the ability to be effective. Players like him. He has schemes, but he is not the play calling during the game. Well, no, that's actually not true. We talked about this. Eric Bieniemy, the first few seasons in Kansas City, he did not call the plays. What you were 100% correct. He installed the offensive game plan, but his last 2 years and the last Super Bowl that they won, he was the offensive play caller. He was the offense. He was the OC. Raiders to meet with Clint for a second interview on Saturday. Okay, good to know. I have total confidence that John Harbaugh will make good hires and build a successful program. I agree. I don't disagree. Like I said, I'm not one of these fans that have been panicking because I don't think there's any reason to panic. There's no reason to panic. I don't see any reason to panic whatsoever. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. There's no reason to panic. You just have to just play it by ear. Go with the flow. We've said it before.
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working it.
That's all you got to do, guys. Ant said, what does Ant say? Tim Dart threw deep in college. His rookie season, they just passed. I'm sure Harbaugh can bring the deep ball ability back. It's interesting, Ant. He didn't throw as deep in college as people think. And I love it because the person that actually had a better deep ball percentage was Shedeur Sanders. The problem is this: we've seen the issues that he has throwing deep, and it's and I don't know. Like I said, is it part of the scheme? Is it the mentality? I don't know. But like I said, you take a look at all of his games. All the white come as soon as he goes past 10 yards. All the dots become red and white. That's a problem. Like I said, I'm not talking like this game where you threw over 30 and 40. I'm talking throwing over 10. I'm talking throwing 10 yards. I mean, you take a look at the yards, you go over 10, it gets dicey. I love this game. You go over 10, he completed 2 passes. I mean, that's what we need to work on. Eric went back to Eric did go back to KC. Okay. All right. I agree with Trenton says I agree with Brandon says I agree with your OC take. Well, thank you. Wasn't Eric Bieniemy a known gang member and always played up about not getting a shot, basically went backwards without Mahomes? Well, who doesn't go back? Well, if that's the case, then if you're going to bring it up that way, so basically what you're saying is maybe they were right about Bill Belichick. He should never be in the Hall of Fame because he didn't do anything without Tom Brady. Ooh, that was a good one. Where do we go, my lovely? No team will ever touch enemy as head coach. Too many skeletons in the closet. He was a badass running back, though. Eric Bieniemy was a pretty good running back. I wouldn't say he was a badass running back, but I would say he was a pretty good running back. Eric the Bieniemy. Eric the Bieniemy. All right, it's 7:57 in the PM, the AM, whatever day, whatever fucking time it is. I was just gonna jump on for a few minutes. I wasn't really gonna stay on very long.
That's what she said.
So what I'm gonna do, guys, I am gonna check out because there's some certain things that I do want to do, but I just wanted to jump in for, like I said, because everyone says I don't stream at night, so I didn't want to stream too long. But I also have a bunch of shit I got to do for tomorrow. So we'll go back to our regular schedule. We may do a pod on Saturday at the 10:15 that we have been doing. I haven't decided yet. I got to wait and check to see what's going on with that. Don't forget the Mighty FanDuel, FanDuel.com, number one sportsbook in America. New customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets. If you win, take the points. Take the points or give the points. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I heard Wan'Dale Robinson could resign. Well, that would just be that. You know what it is. What it is. If he resigns. Hit the like. Set your notifications to all. Enjoy all this fun stuff, guys. I'm having a good hair day, but like I said, I do got a bunch of stuff I got to do around the house, and I do have to finish drying out the bathroom. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you tell a friend, do all that fun stuff. I got a lot of big streams coming up. I got a lot of big guests coming up as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And as always, this is Tim. This is New York Giants Straight Talk, brought to you by the Mighty FanDuel. And I'm out of here.